Folks, today is the day where the Buffalo Bills rookies report for mandatory rookie minicamp. And granted, like I've said before, time and time again, it is largely just the shirts and shorts Olympics. Like, we're really not going to be able to get a lot of answers. But I think as the day progresses and into this weekend, we're going to see who's getting reps where, how they look in specific drills. It's really just a time for all of us to get absolutely pumped because football is close to getting back. Although that it appears to be further and further away, it is largely a hell of a lot closer than we think. And man, I'm excited. I am excited to see Max Harrison, Landon Jackson, TJ Sanders, Dion Walker, Hancock, Strong suit up in the Buffalo Bills uniform for the first time. Man, damn. It's getting to a point where it's about to get exciting because we have rookie minicamp this week. And then obviously, middle of next week, we have the official Buffalo Bills schedule release, along with the remainder of the NFL. So that's largely where I think my content is going to go next week, is based off of speculation and then also sort of nitpicking and dissecting how the NFL gave us our 2025 schedule. But hey, listen, on today's episode, it is Friday, and it's something that I think that I kind of want to start implementing on this show, is where I just have a complete Q&A stream, right? It's Fridays. Let's do a Q&A show on Friday. It could be about anything, specifically rookie minicamp, the upcoming schedule, burning questions that each and every single one of us have pertaining to this roster, because quite a bit is on the line, right? If not this year, when? It's the final year in Highmark Stadium. Are we finally going to raise the Lombardi, right, in the final year where our history was built, right? What is going to make the Buffalo Bills finish the finish line, right? And make it to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. So I'm very excited to do this, guys. As you know, in order for me to make sure that I can craft a quality experience for anybody that tunes in on the I'm having a blank right now. I have to go ahead and finish this coffee. That tunes in on the replay and or listens on audio purposes, please do me a favor and label each and every single submission with a Q dash or an S dash, depending on whether or not that you have a question and or a statement. This is Q&A Friday. This is now new on the channel, especially in the heart of the damn offseason. Without further ado, let's go on ahead and start firing them in. Folks, again, as I've said, if you have a question, please label it as a Q dash. And also, if you have a statement, label it as an S dash, and we will get into these questions accordingly. Now, guys, I do want to remind everybody, say, for example, that you enjoy this episode or you enjoy tuning in with me Monday through Friday. On a regular basis. And I know several of you do. I see a lot of familiar faces right in the chat already. Definitely consider smashing that like button for me. It is the easiest way to show some love. It takes less than a millisecond, but it literally goes to the moon as far as how this channel can continue to grow. And then also, when you subscribe, make sure you turn on bell notifications so you never miss a live episode or an opportunity to be a part of my Q&A segment. Smash that like button. Let's get it in. We got Todd has come in. Are there any more moves before minicamp? Todd has come in from X. What's going on, Todd? I hope you are enjoying your Friday morning. I hope you have some exciting plans this weekend. From where it stands, the Buffalo Bills have 89 players on their roster, and they typically like to keep around 90 going into training camp. Now, they do have a player that is a part of the international program. I forget his name. Please, somebody let me know that within the chat by itself. But I think barring just training camp bodies, right, I would genuinely be surprised if, for example, that we were going to see any other big name, barring some sort of major injury that occurred. I'm sure you guys ultimately ended up seeing that one Giants player tore his pec during practice the other day, which is certainly wild for sure, but it does happen. Say that the Buffalo Bills can stay relatively healthy and there's no insane injury that happens when somebody is stretching. I think for the most part, barring and excluding any sort of like training camp and or a camp body type signing, I think we're good from a roster perspective. But then again, who knows, man? Listen, I have been trying my best to predict what Brandon Beane would do day in and day out for the past 6 or 7 years. And somehow he always ultimately ends up throwing me a curveball, man. He really, really does. Susu, my boy, just came in with a solid question. Kicking off this Friday Q&A with a bang. He says, question, Dan, who do you think would make an impact really quick since some rookies take time to develop? That's a great question, right? And I'd say oftentimes it's very difficult to predict that, but you can get signs based off of particular systems that they ran in college, how much of a learning curve that they are going to be greeted with. And I think one of the biggest things for me, and one player I think that would be able to really hit the ground running, is not going to take a lot of time to understand the system. Max Harrison's probably going to be number one for me because there is such a need for CB2 since Rasul Douglas ended up leaving this team. And while Max Harrison is a speedster, right? He's fast as hell, 4.28 40. He's very efficient in zone. In fact, he came from a zone defense, and that's what the Buffalo Bills predominantly do like to run. Um, Max Harrison for sure. So I do see his learning curve being very short. But then again, like, we don't know. Let's certainly see how OTAs and training camp goes. But I have a feeling that he would be fine there. I think, like, when it comes into our first three picks, I think all three of them, maybe Landon Jackson. I think Landon Jackson might need a year to really end up hitting the ground running. Because while he's a power guy, so I do still think that like he has one more year to develop, but that's completely fine because he's going to be behind the Joey Bosa's and the Gregory Rousseaus and the AJ Epinesas of the world anyway. So I'm not so much concerned about that. But then same thing with TJ Sanders. Like he comes from a solid SEC school. He's really good at getting to the QB. I think the question remains is how many snaps is he going to take away from Ed Oliver, right? Because while we hear like, oh, yeah, like I think the Bills are going to be running 2-3 tech defensive tackles on passing downs, right? Yeah, that sounds cool. But right in the grand scheme of things, I think that we're going to be seeing that, maybe like 15, 20% of each and every single game. So I think it is really just going to depend on what this coaching staff prefers. And so do they like Ed Oliver? Does Ed Oliver absolutely eat at any given time? Who knows? But I'd say those two for sure. Max Harrison and TJ Sanders more than likely will be like day one contributors and starters. I do think that some of our depth is going to be ideal. Love Hancock. So I do think that Jordan Hancock is going to fit in nicely. I think that he beats out Cam Lewis as our backup slot corner. I think that he might get some reps at free safety, for example, if one of our guys goes down. So I think he would be ready if given the opportunity. I think one of the only guys that I really think is going to take some time to develop is going to be Deon Walker from Kentucky. Yes, he's coming off of a back fracture injury that quote unquote plagued him in Kentucky. But even before that, like you saw some things, particularly within his mechanics, that sort of gave out red flags. I wanted Deon Walker in the draft again, but I always knew that he was going to be a developmental guy. He's very top heavy. His strength is very waist up and not so much waist down. So hopefully he can learn from Daquan Jones. Hopefully he can work with our the defensive line coaches, and he'll really be able to make an impact at some point, at the very least as a rotational player. So long-winded answer to your very short question. What's up, Dan? And this is from Filthy Dollar Bills. What's going on, man? Hope all is well. And so I hope you're enjoying your Friday morning. I hope you have some exciting weekend plans. And did you hear Malachi calling out Allen on picking him off this season? Let's go Bills. You know what? Listen, I can't blame Malachi because you know what? When you were a rookie and you just got a fat ass wire deposited right into your damn bank account, you feel like you're on top of the world, right? But I feel that we've seen this story over and over and over again where a particular DB calls out Josh Allen and it never really works out in their favor. Most notably, the Jalen Ramsey Vogue interview that happened a few years ago when he called him quote unquote trash. And now Jalen Ramsey, regardless of what team he is ever on, cannot beat Josh Allen. So don't be surprised when we play the Baltimore Ravens that Josh goes out there and he hurdles that fool, right? I think that Josh has one player a year that he hurdles, right? And I think that he picks them during this time, during the offseason. And there's probably not many hurdles left in his artillery, but I will tell you what. Right now, Josh is sitting back. He's looking at Malachi Starks, and he's just like, that fool's getting hurdled. That, dude, what sports book has a future bet that Josh Allen is going to hurdle a specific player this year? Because, damn, what would the payout on that shit be? Like plus 1 million or something? Who knows, man? We have Jerry White. What's going on, man? What are your thoughts on Derek Forrest? I'm absolutely intrigued with the pickup. Thanks, my guy. No problem, Jerry. I appreciate the question. Man, you know what? I have a lot of optimism with him, right? But then again, when I look at it, I feel that this is all based off of speculation that he's going to be the same player that he was in 2022, right? Because back when Ron Rivera was the head coach over in Washington, he was the starting free safety at the beginning of his career. He was young. He was like a rookie or into his second year, I want to say. Great safety, especially in coverage, which is something Buffalo needs, right? Because right now on the depth chart, we technically have, right, basically two strong safeties, which is fine. We can go down that rabbit hole a little later. But he balled out in 2022. But then in 2023, he started that season off, I'd say relatively promising, and then he got hurt, right? So he missed the remainder of 2023. He got healthy in 2024, but by that time, Dan Quinn took over, and then he really didn't want to implement him into his defense. Whether or not that was scheme differences or he didn't think that he was the right personnel to execute, I don't know. But it's been a couple of years removed from him playing at that high of a level. But that year was such a solid example of what he can bring to the table. Say that this dude was like 31 or 28 or 29, then I would be having some concerns and I would probably have doubts that he would ever be able to play like that way again. But this dude's 25, right? Is Derek Forrest 25 or 24, folks? Derek Forrest age. Let me double check real fast. He's 25 years old. He's 25 years old. So he's still very much in his prime. I'm very interested, man. I want to see how training camp like sort of pours out and see what's going on. Like we know that Sean McDermott's very picky when it comes into safeties, right? Because all of us wanted Mike Edwards to win the free safety battle last year. And while he did end up getting hurt, he obviously wasn't impressing enough to where Hamlin like wouldn't beat him out. Like Hamlin beat that fool out. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that Derek Forrest becomes that guy. I hope that that's the case. We have Susu. We have AJ is underrated as F, and that boy knows how to get pressures off of the jump, and averaging 6+ sacks for a backup is solid as hell. He is a straight up dog, man. I can appreciate that. All right, Ward has come in with a question. Guys, if, for example, you are just coming into this episode, I'm launching a new series called Q&A Friday, and feel free. And so to contribute, do not be shy. I am going to be live for, I don't know, I'd say another 30 minutes. 30 minutes answering all of your burning questions regarding Bills rookie minicamp, maybe the schedule, which is about to release next week, several things pertaining to the team, around the league, what have you. Let's have a little bit of fun. Smash that like button for me as well. If you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already, Ward. He played basketball in college, and I know the workout routines are different. Could that be the reason for his smaller bottom half because basketball is built for more speed? Maybe, right? Like, look, so here's one thing that I feel like a lot of people forget, and maybe it's because you're old like myself. Like, I'm about to be 34 years old, right? And when I see a player, and I think even more specifically Dalton Kincaid a couple of days ago, right, where all of us were concerned, oh my God, he looks skinny, blah, blah, blah. One thing I've always forgotten, and it's something that I experienced back when I was in my low 20s, I could put on muscle like that. Like I could lose weight like that. It all just depended on my training regimen, right? And that's very much the exact same thing for these young men, right? Like they are in their athletic prime, And as long as that they have all of the correct resources in dieting, in weight training, which Buffalo just ultimately ended up getting an entire new staff, I have no concern that he does not have all the resources necessary where he can transfer some of that strength down to his lower body. Perhaps it is, Ward, perhaps. Mikey has come in statement. Like I said yesterday on X, Benford and the Pope both went to Villanova. It is a sign of good things to come. I did see that the Pope is from Chicago. I saw some influencer on X. Her name's Annie Agar, and she posted something that killed me. She said, I can't believe the city of Chicago got a Pope before they got a quarterback to throw over 4,000 yards in an NFL season. I don't know, man. You know what? Like, I feel like the Chicago Bears fans are riding with this, being like, oh my God, we got the Pope. You know, for a fact that the Chicago Bears team is going to make a run. But listen, I will take anything. Like, say that the Pope and Christian Benford went to Villanova. If that's the thing that we need to, if that's the thing that we need to compare, then sign me up. Jesse Lenny, crazy Texans wide receiver Higgins got fully guaranteed contract as a second round pick. Interesting. So I did not see that. I haven't really been looking at some of the news this morning. Last thing I think I saw out of the NFL. Last thing that I think I saw out of the NFL was so North Carolina has reportedly banned Bill Belichick's girlfriend from the Tar Heels football facility. Wow. Okay. Lions signed 4 draft picks. Haven't seen anything about that, but that is interesting. Like, so Higgins is good, right? I think that there's some red flags for him here and there. Like, he's a possession receiver to me, right? Like, he's very much like, say that I could like make a comparison. Like, who's that one receiver from the Indianapolis Colts? Like, why is his name escaping me right now? Like, he's clearly their number 1 wide receiver, Pittman, right? I honestly think that Jaden Higgins, he's a Michael Pittman, right? He's not very fast, 4.5, 4.6. His route tree is good, but for the most part, he's going to be a position guy. He's going to be a possession receiver. That's based off of where I'm looking at right now. Sanders is a big boy standing at 6'4", weighing in at well over 300 pounds, and you could always put on more weight. And he is also very versatile and can play the one tech. We have TJ Sanders. Lucas has come in. So the thing is for me, right? Like, I really want the players on our team to focus on their strengths, right? So I'm trying to think of like a pretty well-crafted analogy that sort of goes into it. Say for example that I need to get an appendix out or something like that, right? Like, I want an appendix specialist, or like say that I wanted some sort of specialty surgery, right? Like, say that I'm like dire and in an emergency, I suppose that I could just go to a general practitioner, right? Like, I trust him enough. But would I rather go to a specialist? 110%. Say that I had a choice. That's how I look at TJ Sanders, right? Like, yes, he can throw on some weight and play one tech, but he's a specialist at getting to the quarterback and rushing to the QB. I think TJ Sanders, for me, Lucas, has largely more so been that he's an insurance policy for Ed Oliver, or that he is a future plan because Bean is already conspiring a way out of Ed Oliver, because we technically have an out on his contract next year as far as negative cap implications. So while I suppose I would be open to it, I'd much rather just let with the Daquan Jones run the rest of the year like at one tech and get Dion some situations here and there, right? But for me, just because somebody is versatile and can technically play multiple positions or multiple responsibilities, 9 times out of 10, I want them to play where their specialty is. That's me. We got Jason is coming. So Trubisky is still our backup quarterback. He is. Mitchy Biscuits, man. Mitchy Biscuits is here. Lamar Jackson is. All right, guys. Let's limit so the arguments in the chat, please. Carvin Joseph. So are you still on the take that Landon Jackson will be the best edge rusher in this draft, even over Abdul Carter? You have Carvin Joseph. It's tough. It's tough to say, right? Because really when it comes into any single like edge defender, it does really matter about their injury history. And I feel like the one thing that concerns me about Abdul Carter is that he is coming off of a pretty scary injury, right? Like he's healthy now. Like he had zero like preseason stuff. So I think Landon Jackson, for the most part, like while he's had an injury history himself, like he wins with pure power. Like he's not a bend and a burst type edge rusher that's going to be running circles around offensive tackles, but he is the kind of edge rusher that's going to be pushing somebody on their ass, right? I love the way that he can win on the inside. Like winning on the inside is not something that like you could be coached into. Like that is just pure strength and power. And he regularly did that in the SEC. So I'm very optimistic about this guy. I really, really am. This year, maybe not so much, but year 2, year 3, I think that's really when he really hits home. When he really hits home. There is a lot of upside that he does. And from watching his development from the time he was in high school and he was slapping those bags and it was the funniest meme on earth, he has come such a long way. It's crazy. Eagles had 10 stops versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl, or versus the Chiefs, excuse me. Did this massive revamp get us to able to do that? Is Bishop ready? Trey's role, etc. And Chuck comes in with a great question here. So I'll tell you what, Chuck, it's interesting for me when it comes into the safety room because Taylor Rapp and Cole Bishop are the same player, right? Like they are both strong safeties. Buffalo, especially toward the back half of the season, ran 2 strong safeties in Cole Bishop and Taylor Rapp, I think largely due to injury purposes, right? So I'm curious to see what that tandem is going to be. So are they going to run Bishop and Rapp again? Or are they going to run Taylor Rapp and Derek Forrest, for example? Or say that Jordan Hancock, right? Because he was sort of a dual player where he ultimately ended up playing a little bit of safety and slot corner as well, like a Cam Lewis-esque role. I'm wondering what that tandem is going to be. I'm optimistic that Cole Bishop is going to take another step because I think that it would kind of be silly for all of us to assume that out of every single player we drafted last year is not going to take that year 2 jump. I feel like we see it each and every single year, right? Like we always see a player that being drafted from year 1 to year 2 really, really hit the mark in year 2. So who knows there? As far as Trey's role for me, Chuck, he is a hell of an insurance policy for me, right? Like one of the biggest issues in DB for me was not having trustworthy depth. So one thing that I sort of like pointing it out with is that your starter, say for example, is a 93 Madden rating. Last year, the Buffalo Bills, second person on the depth chart, had like a 55, right? Like we're not expecting the second person on the depth chart to have a 90 something rating, but hell, I mean, we would take a damn 69 or a 73. Like we wanted to close the gap as far as a drop off between the ability from your starter right down to the second person or the next man up. So I think Trey does fit that. Like he's not going to be like a star cornerback anymore, but I do think that he did have some promising tape last year while he played for Baltimore, not so much LA, but he's quality. As far as this corner room, we sort of unpacked this a bit yesterday, but I think one player that is in danger of getting cut from this room is going to be Dane Jackson. I do think that Dorian Strong is going to make this team right over him, which makes it even more intriguing. This is weird. Hold up, folks. There you go. There you go. Okay. Let's go ahead and get Jay Peters in the chat, man. Let's do it. Based off of the home opponents, who do you prefer we play earlier in the season versus later in the cold months? Based off of home opponents, who do you prefer we play earlier in the season versus later in the cold months? I really don't want to sound like a homer being like, bring on anybody, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know what, Jay? Because last year, not only were we undefeated at home, we blew every single team out that we played at home except for one team. Like, we blew everybody out that came to Orchard Park. Like, we are just an entire different squad when we're home. And we typically have a really good home record, right? But say that I'm being nitpicky, I feel like I would much prefer to have the hardest ones during the colder months, right? Because yes, I understand that some of the teams that are on our home schedule do come from the AFC North, for example, right? And like, we play the NFC South as well. I'm not so much concerned about any of the NFC South teams. Um, but yeah, like, dude, listen, like, regardless of what you say, like, oh, it's December, it's 6 degrees outside, like, this team comes from Cincinnati or this team comes from Baltimore, like, they're used to it. Like, no one's used to that, right? Like, 90% of NFL rosters are from Florida or the Southeast or Arizona, Texas. So, like, you really don't get as used to that as one would assume, right? Especially since, like, 9 times out of 10, when you see a team, um, so that has all of their players live there during the season, like, soon as when January is up, or say their team, like, doesn't make the playoffs, like, they're hightailing it back to Arizona or Southern California, where they're from, until they need to be back. So for me, I'm fine with it. Um, we will see. Why is getting Sanders meaning they want TJ, so to move on from Oliver, but Jackson isn't then wanting to move off of Groot? Maybe they don't have faith in Dwayne Carter, and so with Oliver is out, most consistent. So I think it's interesting. So I don't think that the Landon Jackson thing applies, especially since we just ended up extending Greg Rousseau. So I think the thing is, like, why I think people are saying that is, number one, contractually, you have an out from Ed Oliver next year, right? So he's under contract for the next two. But say, for example, we wanted the post June 1st cut him next year. I think technically we can add like $14.5 million in savings and limit the dead cap. So I think that's why people are suggesting that. As far as Dwayne Carter, I don't think that the team would. Yeah, I don't know. Right. And so I don't think that the team, like, would have drafted a 3-tech defensive tackle right in the second round to replace a defensive tackle we drafted in the third round just last year. It just has everything to do with Ed Oliver's contract. But again, it's just speculation, right? It's just speculation. So nothing too crazy there. What's going on, my boys? What's going on, my boys? We have and so I still think Elam is better than Trey, and damn, Trey has been absolutely trash. I hope that he's not, though. And so I really hope that, like, he can just be. So say that Trey can come back as like 70% of what he used to be, and his role is depth. Cool. Right? And so I really don't want a world where Trey has to be the starter for a considerable amount of time, but like, say that he has to go like 1 to 2 to 3 games. So I feel like I'm curbing my expectations for Trey, right? Like, as long as he's better than some of the depth we had last year, as long as he's better than Kyer Elam from last year, then sure. I'm happy with that. We have Cole. I just hope we get lucky and catch teams while they are slumping. Wouldn't that be great? He goes, yeah, but why would you want to cut your best player on the defensive line? So it could be to save money, right? So, like, say that TJ Sanders goes out there and like he balls and like he like takes advantage of a lot of his opportunities. It's just something Bean would do. And so I'm not even saying that I would welcome it, like, either, right? Like, I love Ed Oliver. I think that as long as he has a solid partner, especially at 1-tech, he goes off. I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of, like, why would Bean like want to draft a 3-tech in the second round? It just didn't make sense, right? So I think he just kind of did it for a gamble, and say that TJ Sanders goes out there and he gets, like 4 or 5 sacks this year with limited snaps. Then he could look at this whole situation. He could be like, oh, look at that. I can avoid having to pay a defensive tackle a crazy contract for 5 to 6 years. I don't know. That's just kind of that's kind of my thought. What are your top landing spots for Gabe Davis? So did I see something that he signed with the Giants, or was that one of those fake accounts? I think it might have been one of those fake accounts. I saw like a Jordan Schultz update. Oh yeah, it's all fake accounts. Hold up. Yeah, it's all fake accounts. Um, I don't believe that the Bills are going to bring him back. I don't believe that's the case. However, I think he'll probably land on the Giants. He'll land on the Steelers, perhaps. So I think the Seahawks could be interesting as well. So he could, yeah, yeah, he could be a guy, maybe. But I don't know. Chuck has come in. And so I get the finances of player position, but I really thought our running back room was a real strength last year. How important is Cook being happy? So the good thing is, and you know what? I really try not to look into this too much because you can go down like a crazy rabbit hole. But from what I understand, I guess James Cook yesterday took to his social media and he was posting a bunch of pictures, like being nostalgic of him being at training camp. And from what Brandon Beane said, it sounds like that he intends on playing like right into this season. So here's my deal about Cook, right? I think that regardless of how he feels, him being a little upset might actually be an advantage for us, Chuck, right? Because so you have to think of it this way. Like he wants $15 million per year, right? He has an opportunity to put on a showcase for whatever team wants to sign him next year. If Buffalo doesn't want to sign him next year, like say that we don't end up giving him a contract before training camp, but we go into this season on his final year of his rookie deal, like this dude's going to be going out there and making damn well sure that he puts up the best production he has in his entire career. Like he's going to make the most out of each and every single opportunity that he has, because this right here is his tryout for whatever team wants to sign him next off season, right? So him having a chip on his shoulder might not necessarily be a bad thing. Might not necessarily be a bad thing, but don't know. I don't know, man. We have Jon Snow is coming and saying that it's Ray Davis season. So I think he'll get more opportunities this year, but I'm not sure if he'll beat Cook out in snap count, barring some injury. But listen, I'm like, dude, I'm high on Ray Davis. I really am. And so I thought that he did very well. And plus, it does help tremendously. It helps tremendously that we have our entire starting offensive line back this year. Like that's something I think all of us should be very, very optimistic about, right? You have Mako Morales. Sup, Dan? And who do you see the Bills playing first on the primetime game? I don't know why, but I have a feeling that Buffalo has a primetime game. I feel like they have a primetime game week 1. It's going to be a Sunday night football or a Monday night football, one of the two. I don't know. I have been actually really paying close attention to a couple of accounts that are typically pretty trustworthy when it comes into schedule leaks. So far, they had a couple of schedule leaks already. It's this guy named the NFL Nerd. So I highly recommend you go give him a check because last year he was actually on the money for quite a bit. And he's announced a couple of games already in case you guys might have missed some of my videos I put out yesterday. But he has almost all of the international games with the exception of the Ireland game, which I'm still low-key hoping that that is the Buffalo Bills game. But so they announced Washington Commanders and Dolphins in Spain, and then all 3 of the London games are listed right here. Vikings, Browns, Broncos, Jets, and LA, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So stay tuned. Stay tuned, folks, because I am going to be watching this like a damn hawk. Here's something that actually just kind of hit a conspiracy that I'm thinking. Hold up. Get this. Actually, let me do something real fast. Hold up. Bear with me here. Bear with me here, folks. So I want to go on ahead and pull this up. Who in the hell was that fool? That NFL nerd. Okay. All right. So the week leading up right into the schedule release this year, right? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they are going to tease particular games that are going to be announced, right? And here is the list. You have the NBC Monday, May 12th. And get this, right? Okay. I'm going to go on ahead and share my screen right here. And let's throw on the tinfoil hat here. Okay. You have NBC Monday, May 12th on the Today Show. Guess what was just announced by Sal Capaccio a bit earlier this morning? And this is the schedule of where they are going to leak particular NFL matchups, right? Look what Sal just tweeted a little earlier. Hold up. Where is he? Okay. So my buddy Pat Hammer, WGRZ, just told me that the Today Show teased that Josh Allen is going to be a guest on their show next week. That's NBC, of course. We go back to this, the Today Show, where they are announcing a game. Chat, say that I'm a gambling man. We can all but confirm that it's going to be Bills and Steelers in Ireland. All but confirm. All but confirm. All but confirm. I feel like it's it. And that's sick, dude, because I would go to Dublin in a heartbeat. Oh man. Jeepers. And there are always conspiracies. You know what? It's the heart of the offseason and they're fun to talk about. You know what I mean? And because Bears didn't get good trade value, that means it's the collision apparently in their minds, or collusion in their minds. Good morning, Dan, the man. Yo ho ho. Let's freaking go. Damn, I love that question. And do you think that we bring back some jet sweeps with more? So I believe he's going to be great here. Dude had some trash throwing to him. So I feel like last year I feel like every single intention of running jet sweeps, but that player would have been Curtis Samuel. And he was suffering with a turf toe injury for the vast majority of the season. So say that anybody takes on that gadget role, I think it's going to be Curtis, of course, assuming that he's fully healed and he's 100%. Yeah, we'll see. Thoughts on Malachi Starks? Guys, I wanted the draft saying he is most looking to pick on Josh Allen, Sarah. And we jumped in front of them 3 times to snatch the defensive tackle, and they were coveting allegedly. Ooh. Time flies before we know it. It will be game time. Damn, man. 100 men versus 1 gorilla. Who wins? That's a great question, bro. I'm going to have to go with the gorilla, dude. Like those, dude. So because here's the deal, right? Like men are men, obviously, right? Like we're all tough. We all have testosterone flowing through us. But you also need to understand that like all of us are mental beings. Right? Like, it's not necessarily like we are fight or flight beings, like biologically. And 100 random dudes, right? Like, I hear this overall debate like over and over again. And the debate is 100 average men, right? Like, you see like 5 dudes go in front of you and like get their esophagus ripped off and just like see someone's left arm get bit off or something like that. Like, 40 to 50 of those dudes are running away and saying like, you know what? I'm too old for this shit. Like, you know what? I got enough to lose. All right. I got to leave here. Right. So I think context is very important. I'm probably going to go with the gorilla on that one. And plus, like we've had this conversation on the stream before. Like, what is the largest animal that you think that you could take down with your bare hands? Like a battle to the death. Like you're like an octagon. Right. And like one of you is walking out. Like I always hear, and so this debate, like 1 man versus 1 dog, like, come on, bro. And so I'm taking a man versus a dog, like each and every single time. So the biggest animal I think I could take out with my bare hands and successfully do it would probably be a bobcat. Yeah, I'd probably say a bobcat would probably be it. Like say it's me or the bobcat, like for sure. For sure, I would be able to take it. But that's probably the biggest animal I think I could take out. Red, white, and Bills. Let me see. Sarah Christine, I could see 5 being a real discussion, but 100 is ridiculous, to be honest. 100 men on Tren versus the gorilla. Yeah, I don't know. 100 gorillas versus one Chuck Norris. Chuck all day. A house cat. And so a bobcat is 0% body fat, but it's also like what, like 40, 50 pounds? Yeah, for sure. Bobcats are mean AF. Me too, fool. Me too, Horn Hunter. I'm mean as hell too, bro. I'm mean as hell too. And the Diagnus is saying a bobcat, so the LMAO. So like you're all right. So like you're okay. So you're telling me that if it was literally you or the bobcat, a 60-pound animal with nails, right? It's not like a giant jaw that's going to be able to like go over your head or anything along those lines. It doesn't have enough of a bite force to take off like your hand. Like you're telling me that if it was you or a 60-pound animal, that you wouldn't walk out the victor. Come on, dude. Are you insane? Are you insane? You would be X'd out, right? Like I'm talking a damn room by yourself. It doesn't catch you by surprise. It's you and a bobcat. And you're telling me that you would be taken out by a 50-pound animal? I'm not saying you'd walk out scratch-free, fool. Like, yeah, like you would be hurt. But come on, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy that people are like, oh my God, no, dude. Like you would meet your maker with a bobcat. Hell no. If it was me or the bobcat, I'm coming out victorious, fool. I'm doing it by any means necessary. Yeah, I might be scratched up pretty good. Come on, bro. Have faith in yourselves, boys. Like, I could see if I said a mountain lion, like, yeah, I'd be delusional if it was a mountain lion. Like, that thing, I'm done with a mountain lion. But come on, bobcat. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Set it up. Set it up. Set it up. Life or dude, listen, man. I need y'all to get some confidence in yourselves, man. Listen, like, okay, listen. I guarantee you, y'all are like grown men, and you probably have more strength than you think. Like, you're telling me that you would walk into a cage, like right now, and just be like, damn, a 50-pound animal is going to take me out. Hell no. Hell no, bro. Like, yeah, he's going to get some licks. Come on, dude. Any second of the day, dude. And so he'd go to sleep with that shit. Baby, come on, baby. Man. And so fool bites my arm, dude. You know what I do with my other arm? I take his neck. And I take my 315-pound bench pressing titties. I use that strength, and I pin that fool to the ground until I see the life leave his eyes, baby. Come on, man. Have some faith in yourselves, man. Come on. And so is there any way we could test this theory? Hey, set it up. Set it up. All right, Wyatt has come in saying, good morning, Dan. What are your most looking for the NFL schedule next week? Where we are. And so a bobcat, no problem. A mountain lion, no chance. Oh, yeah. A mountain lion, I'd be dead for sure. Like, yeah, for sure, dude, right? But and plus, like, I'm not sitting here saying it would be easy. So the question here, folks, is what is the biggest, most challenging animal you could take out with your bare hands? Like, that's it. Like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, it's going to be a walk in the park. I'm just saying, say that it was me or the bobcat. I'm taking the bobcat. I'm taking it down, baby. That's what I'm doing. He's too fast for humans. That's exactly why I'd let him bite me, right? Like, I'd take the lick. And as soon as when he like latches onto my other arm, choke that fool out. My God, man. And so I put that fool to sleep. Hey, Dan, I appreciate your energy every single stream. Thank you so much. And so everyone has a plan until their intestines are exposed by sharp claws. But like, dude, you know what, man? Listen. Dude, worst case scenario, bites my finger, I'll bite that fool too. And so I'll bite that fool too, bro. And so the bobcat has a plan to like gouge out that fool's eyeball. I'm just kidding, bro. This is getting crazy. This conversation is getting crazy. What do we do if we lose to Kansas City for the 5th time in the playoffs? I feel like I have a good routine now. I just sit in the shower in fetal position and I question life. I would stick to herbivores and stay away from the carnivores. I mean, yeah. 100 Bobs versus one Dan. 100 Bobs versus one Dan. So, all right. And so do the Bobs have arms, maybe? Okay, Dan, I believe you on the Bobcat. Because Bobcats are average 20 to 30 pounds. Yeah, dude, right? Dude, it's even less than I thought. It's 20 to 30 pound animal. They all be like, oh, no way, dude. It's 20 to 30 pounds, man. You'd be dead. Come on, bro. Come on. It's a 20 to 30 pound animal. Come on, man. Like, yeah, you'll be scratched up. All right, come here. Yeah, dude, come here. Ready? Like, look, guys, come on. Come on, man. Look at that. Come on, fool. Right? Come on, man. Pump that fool, dude. Come on, dude. And funny, I actually bit my brother-in-law's pit bull when it growled at me. And that thing was nice. Dude, you know what, man? Listen, like, so I'm from Buffalo, right? But I did grow up in the South. And so I spent the vast majority of my life right in South Carolina. Like, that's some redneck shit, bro. Biting your dog. And so I had a redneck buddy and stuff like that. He's like, hell yeah, brother. So I got my dog. He had a biting problem. I bit him in the ear. Solved it all. I'm like, damn. And so I haven't bit that guy. Or so I haven't bit a dog before, but just no. All right. I fight a Chiefs fan any day before a Bobcat. And also, gorillas are herbivores too. Hey, can you give Bob an uppercut for me? All right. There you go, man. There you go. All right. Anyway, guys, I love you very much. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Don Mafia Report. If there is any breaking news or like some cool shit that happens during the rookie minicamp, and or if there's any rumors about the schedule, I may be live a little later today. Please do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already, and subscribe and turn on bell notifications. It's always a good time. I'm going to start training for my fight against a Bobcat, and I will see you soon. Love y'all.